Greetings. It's evening here in camp in the wilderness, and the bugs are starting to come out. And if you're like us, you prefer to try to avoid all the toxic bug sprays and chemicals and things like that aren't good for you and aren't good for the environment. Unfortunately, there's not too many other options. You can try the good old citronella, but if you're like us, you've had various mosquitoes, especially like in the Cascades and places like that, just walk right through it. And there is one thing you can do that people have been doing for thousands of years, and you can see it right in front of you. Yep, that is burning animal dung. And flies and mosquitoes and biting insects really don't like it. And people for, again, thousands of years, especially herders, animal herders, and people who keep ungulates or grass eaters will use this stuff, these compressed little pellets of fuel for smoke, for cooking fuel, for heating, that sort of thing. Pretty much anything you really can think of. And it may seem really gross. Oh my gosh, you're touching poop. Why would you do that? Well, it's completely sterile. It's old. It's just basically like a wad of dried up grass clippings. It's the same stuff you get out of your lawnmower or pick out of your lawnmower, under the underside of it every spring. You go to clean it out, those dried up clumps. And they just smolder away, as you can see. And we got these from, you find them everywhere out in the wilderness, horse packers. They leave their animals poop anywhere they please, and it's not very polite. And unfortunately, there's no changing that. They don't care. They know it'll just biodegrade anyway. It's just more of an unsightly thing that you might step in the trail. But as you know, we like to do things on the cheap and use other people's leftovers in order to get by and save a buck. And there's piles of this stuff just everywhere out here in the wilderness. You name the wilderness. Doesn't matter which one. It's anywhere horse packers go, you'll find it. And you can use their waste to your benefit by smoldering a little bit of it like incense. Obviously, if you get too much of a pile, it'll start actually flaming up and there won't be as much smoke. You don't want that. You want it to just kind of burn like a little piece of incense. And it's easy enough to get going. You just get a little bit of it there and hit it with the lighter for a few seconds, and it doesn't usually take all that long if it's good and dry. And it should take a little ember really, really easily. You might need to blow on it a little bit to kind of get it going, but you can see that's already smoldering away. We can add that. That's plenty right there. And now the smell is pretty accurate. It smells like, burning grass. It's not exactly pleasant, and that's the whole point. Citronella doesn't smell that great, and that's kind of the whole point. So whenever we can, we try to avoid using the bug spray and the DEET and the citronella, and because those things cost money. They're not exactly pleasant to smell, and not all of them are that great for you. And we like to use whatever nature can provide or whatever waste other people have left behind. Their trash is our benefit, and it's a good way to clean up a little bit of the dung that they leave laying around and help leave less of a trace. I mean, there's a live round sitting here in this very, very used campsite in the wilderness, and lots of other garbage, from tinfoil to clothing. We even found a folding knife. Just needs sharpening. Unreal. But along with that stuff, we found plenty of horse poop. It also may be mule poop. They sometimes use pack mules too. Same difference. It doesn't really matter. You could use elk or mountain goat or deer if you really wanted to. You could use cow dung if you really wanted to. And again, it sounds really nasty. You're touching poop. It's completely dry. It's completely sterile. The only thing that it is just dried up grass that got chewed up. And it's perfectly fine to use. We definitely encourage all of you out there to find some way to save a buck while keeping yourself healthy and not being reliant on those darn consumer goods. It's like an addiction. You can't stop. Once they get you going on it, you can't stop buying it. You got to always have that stuff. You got to have your DEET. You got to have your, your campfire. Got to have my campfire so I can keep the bugs away. Well, right here for free. And it's literally like 10 feet away over to the right of us here. There's a whole pile of it. It's all over the place in addition to that. Pretty handy, pretty cool, a little smelly, but again, that's the point. And we want to thank you so very much for joining us here during the bug hour in the wilderness to talk about free bug repellent.